And there's a funny little woman in a car there, and I'm sure she's following me. I think I've got a stalker. Hi, so we've moved on. We're now at a place called Moolap, and we're at a site called Laughs on Larkin. It's just a small privately owned site. They do provide power and water if you wish, and it's quite nice. We're going to have a couple of nights here. We've actually booked the ferry now from Queenscliff, so we've got tonight and tomorrow night, and then the day after we leave from Queenscliff to Sorrento. So all's going well. The car actually didn't miss a beat today. So I think this is going to be the problem. Kind of an intermittent issue. When it's doing it, it's a pain in the backside, but when it's not doing it, what do you do? So time for a bit of dinner and settle in for the night, I think. Oh, this is Alan, by the way. Alan is the site guard dog, and he's killer. Aren't you, Alan? He's lovely. Well, good morning. So it is 2 days later. We've had our couple of nights at Laughs on Larkins. Fairly eventless, nothing really to report there. We didn't do much filming. Apart from, we discovered we had a lodger. We were sat watching telly at night, and in the dimly lit motorhome, we suddenly noticed this little fella wandering around. So that is a Huntsman Spider. Now, by Australian standards, it's a decent sized spider, I suppose. By British standards, it's absolutely massive. So there was a bit of a palaver, a bit of a panic, and he was flapping like mad. I wasn't too keen, to be perfectly honest, but we eventually managed to get him out, and then spent the rest of the evening wondering whether he'd brought any of his mates with him. So anyway, that made for an interesting night's sleep, shall we say. Anyway, so today we are on our way to the Queenscliff ferry. We're going to cross over to Sorrento. We're all booked in, we've got our tickets. We did have a ride down to the ferry terminal yesterday because it's fairly close, just to see kind of what to expect. And the town of Queenscliff is actually very nice, so as you can see from here, it's quite a cute little place. We'll get a little bit of dash cam footage as we drive through very shortly. And the only other interesting thing that's transpired this morning, yesterday when we was looking at the ferry area, the weather was beautifully calm and lovely. Today, would you believe, we've got a severe wind warning, so how that will affect the crossing, we're not sure. But the whole thing is going to be interesting. Never been on a ferry in a vehicle before, so literally don't know what to expect. But stick with us and we'll all find out together. So we're not far off Queenscliff now. It doesn't look it from in here, but it is pretty windy out there. So you're supposed to check in at the terminal 40 minutes before, and we're due to sail at midday. So we are a bit early actually, it's only 11 o'clock now. So we're going to have to find somewhere to just park up, I think, for a little bit. Angie is right behind us. So this is the rather nice town centre of Queenscliff. Very colonial, a lot of the buildings, very nice. Terminal is basically just round this next corner. Here we go. Good morning. Wonderful. Yourself?
Yes, very good, thank you. Do you have a pre-purchase ticket?
We do, yes.
Great. I'll scan your QR. Is it?
That's correct. My wife is behind me in the car.
Alright, that's okay. She's got her ticket, has she?
She has?
Yep,
Yeah.
lovely. So, 4?
Lane 4.
Board about 11:45.
Will she park in lane 4
No,
with...
she'll be in a
different
lane.
lane?
She'll meet up on the ferry.
Magic.
Fine. So, have they announced
You don't stay in your vehicles, do you?
No, you drive onto the ferry and then head to the passenger lounge.
Magic.
Okay, so
Thank
lane
you.
4 for you.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm in lane 4. Angie's going to be in a different lane. We'll be boarding about 11:45 apparently. So we're parked up at the terminal. We've handed our tickets in, so to speak, and we're now just waiting to be boarded. And there's a funny little woman in a car there, and I'm sure she's following me. I think I've got a stalker. So we've just also been told that Sid can stay in the motorhome whilst we're on the ferry. We're not allowed to, but they said if he travels well, animals can stay in the vehicle. So we're going to leave him in because struggling up and down stairs, and if we don't leave him in the vehicle, we have to stay outside with him. So it might be a bit wild and windy, so he's probably going to be more comfortable in the moho. And we've got the option then to go and sit in one of the lounges, I suppose, if it's a bit cold and such like. Couple doing it on a motorbike there, that's the way. Well, it looks like that's our ferry that's just pulling in there. In it comes. Looks like it's coming right into the car park, doesn't it? Oh, it's opening up. There's got to be a joke there about it having a bigger mouth than Angie or something, but I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. There she is, watching every move. And out they come. And there we go, straight out the car park that way. It's quite efficient, really. I was thinking it was going to be ages for them to unload, but it's not that big of a ferry, I suppose. There's not that many vehicles in there. And obviously everybody's sat in there just raring and waiting to go. So it looks like it's going to be our turn very soon. Looks like we're going already. And it's the big boys first by the looks of things. Bikes are all poised and waiting to go. Whoa. Here we go. I think. Telling me to stop. I bet Angie's a little bit panicky now because, I mean, I can see in there, them cars are pretty squashed in. Here we go. Right, might be better if I put this camera down. Now I can rely on the dash. Oh, it looks like they're giving us plenty room. Thank you.
That's all.
Right, I'm in and settled, Angie. Okay, so we're on board. It is very windy. The microphone should be cutting a bit of it out, but it is very windy. So there we go. Just waiting to go. And I think we're going that way. Let's have a bit of a look round this side. Sid was a bit confused when we left him in the motorhome. He'll be fine. Top deck. Actually quite pleasant. That breeze, isn't it?
It's actually nice and warm. I'm thinking about taking my top off.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'll keep the camera going then.
No, I might end up taking too much off by accident. Oh, we're off. We're off.
Are we off? Yeah, we are. We're moving. I'll tell you what, they don't mess about. They get them off and on pretty quick, don't they?
Yeah.
Apparently this old lady here has got some sandwiches. So I'm going to sit next to her and see if I can... No, I'm drunk. So we are in one of the lounges now. Just got out of the wind for a bit. Sandwiches have been consumed, aren't they, honey bun?
Oh, yes.
Very good they were too.
It is 12:30.
A little wander, see what's elsewhere. We've got a bit of rocking and rolling going on. Here's another lounge. Another little cafe. Well, it's quite nice really, isn't it? Nothing wrong with that. That's quite nice, isn't it? It's got everything you need, isn't it? Right, let's go sit round there, out of the way. Well, I reckon in about 10 minutes they'll be telling you can go back down into your vehicle. Looks like we're getting close. We've slowed down.
That be up in that corner up there.
Yeah, probably that bit there, yeah. Okay, so we've just been told that all drivers and passengers in vehicles have to please return to their vehicles. That's the ramp. Ah, there we are. Speak to you in a bit. Okay, here we go. Hello, City. Hello. Hello. Have you survived? Have you survived the trip? Oh, you're a good boy. All right. Okay. Come. Okay. Calm down. Good boy. Right. So we're back in the moho, and we're just actually pulling in to port now. I don't know whether you can make that out. So they're going to be opening us up very soon. The bikers are getting organised, get all the gear back on. There go the bikes. Okay, Sidney. You alright, mate? Right, I'm just following you for now, babe. Can you see, Sid? So we're well and truly out of the ferry terminal now. We've got 50 minutes to the campsite that we're heading to. Well, the caravan park, should I say, that we're heading to. I've just scroped the motorhome down the side of an overhanging tree, so I'm hoping that we haven't done any damage. Although looking in my mirror, I have got a little bit of tree hanging off the awning by the looks of things. Time will tell. But the ferry crossing all went super smooth. So I think we'll head straight to the site now because basically we're there for 4 nights. We're still unsure what's going to happen with the car. So we'll be tripping around all this area in the car, so we don't really need to stop and explore now. Best thing to do, I think, is get to the site and get settled. So we'll catch up with you once we get to the Stony Point Caravan Park. So we have arrived. We're now at the, what's it called, babe? Stony Point Caravan Park. Yeah. And we have just got ourselves sighted. We're here for a few days now because we're kind of having to pass time till we can get the car sorted. So we're just going to explore from here. We've booked in this site for 4 nights, and this is our first little wander round to see just where we are. There is the camp kitchen, and again it's another site. It's a small site this, and it looks like everything's a bit squished in, but $45 a night with power and water, and they've got all the facilities, so price isn't so bad. And we are very near the sea, as you can see. So we're just going to treat it as a base, really. Come on, Sid. There is a load of pelicans there. Hopefully the camera is picking them up okay. And that's where we keep all our seagulls. Yeah, that's the point. Like Angie's just said, those bushes are actually growing in the water. Interesting, in salt water as well. And here's your fish gutting stations. Blech. So there's very little in the immediate area. We're kind of on a little peninsula here. So it's basically going to be trips out in the car every time we move, I think. So this is the main entrance to the site. And again, there's nothing too glamorous about it. But it does have the required. So I've checked the side of the motorhome and the where I caught the bushes as we came off the boat doesn't seem to have done any damage. Seem to have been lucky enough to get away with that. So there we are, tucked away down the end there. Nice trendy little chimney there next door. Nice Iveco sunliner there, double slide out. Yeah. I did ask the lady as we checked in if it was possible to be not under a tree, and she said, no, that's fine, you're not under a tree. Well, clearly that's not a tree. Okay, so we've come out to Sorrento to have an explore, and believe it or not, I've forgotten the camera and the microphones. So we're filming on the iPhone today, so you'll have to excuse if the sound quality and such like is not up to our usual standard. Might get a little bit more wind noise with not having the mics, unfortunately. We have just had a little drive down the main street and it seems really nice, Sorrento. I think we're a little bit upmarket now in Sorrento. It's a very nice little town centre, isn't it? Now, anybody that's watched us before knows that we are quite partial to a vanilla slice. Check this out. This is the Vanilla Slice Cafe in Sorrento. I think that has to be worth a look. It was determined by Angie that they have the wrong topping, so they were discounted, believe it or not. Yeah, they didn't have icing on the top, so no use to us. So we have fallen for the churros, is that how you pronounce them?
Yes, Sam.
Churros and coffees.
When you say we.
When I say we, I mean Angie. I'm just along for the ride. And coffees. And there could even be ice cream to follow because they've got honeycomb crunch.
And mint chocolate.
So what did you think of the churros, whatever they're called?
Very nice.
You should have shared them, really. That was the idea.
I had 1 3/4 out of 6.
Well, Sid must have had the rest then.
He'd have liked to have had the rest. He didn't get it.
Well, that was nice, but incredibly sweet. And we couldn't do the ice cream. It looked really nice ice cream as well, which is a bit frustrating. Probably should have done the ice cream and not the churros. It's a very busy little town. Parking was a bit interesting. There was literally nowhere to park. We actually finished up parking on a bit of wasteland in the end.
Oh, did you see that?
Some very posh shops. Right, just have a bit of a ride down the coast now. Warm.
Put the engine on, I'm going to have to open the door.
Whinge. That's one of the caravan parks there that doesn't take dogs. This was the problem we had with this peninsula, that almost all of them didn't take dogs at all. That sea looks very lovely and blue. We are now driving through Blairgowrie. So this looks like a beautiful coastline. We just passed some lovely bits but couldn't find anywhere to park. How nice is that? Looking that way, that's where all the caravan sites are all along the edge here. As you're coming down, there's caravan sites all the way down there, and they're all no dogs, which is frustrating. Very nice. So we're now in Rye, aren't we, Angie? Another cloudy and windy day, threatening rain today and tomorrow again. It's kind of on the brink all the time, but it's nice and cool to walk around, to be fair. Well, welcome to the next day. We've just had our second night at Stony Point Caravan Park and awoke this morning to rain, didn't we? And it was quite heavy, and it was actually quite nice just rolling over in bed and listening to it pitter patter on the roof of the moho. It reminded us, yeah, it was like when the kids were little and we used to go camping and stuff with the kids, and it was always raining. So yeah, it was very reminiscent, wasn't it? So today it is still pretty damp and a little bit rainy on and off, and we're heading to the town of Mornington. Mornington being the town after which this whole peninsula is named, the Mornington Peninsula.
Yep.
So Mornington seems to be a decent sized town. Hopefully the rain holds off and we can have a bit of an explore. So we've got about 25 minutes till we get there. As a point of interest, the car did go into limp mode again yesterday, twice, didn't it?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if it does it again today. We have actually got the car booked in at the Kia dealer in Mornington, but it's not for 10 days. So we're now considering, we've actually booked it in at 2 other Kia dealers, but we're considering maybe struggling on to the furthest one, which is for us going to be a few days away, a good few days away, and going slow so that when we get to that potential appointment, which isn't for about 3 weeks, it maybe won't have slowed us down too much. It's a tricky one really. We're not really quite sure what to do. We don't really want to be stuck in this area for the next 10 days, but then we don't really want to have to take 3 weeks to do what is really probably a 1 week trip anyway. So it's just awkward. We'll see what the car does anyway. That might decide for us. So we have arrived in Mornington and it is blowing a hoolie and raining. This is the harbour and it actually looks quite nice. Let's just make sure we've locked the car.
Look how the sea's all rough out there, but then this side of the wall it's nice and sheltered.
Yeah, it is. You can see on the other side of the breakwater there. I don't know whether the camera will pick it up. Let's try zooming in a bit. Yeah, you can see the sea on the other side of the breakwater there and how rough it is and how nice and calm it is just inside. Let's have a wander up the main street, shall we? I think we're that way actually. At least I've remembered the proper camera today. In actual fact, when I did a bit of editing last night, the bit I filmed on the iPhone yesterday wasn't too bad, was it? The sound wasn't... You could hear what we were saying anyway. Come on, Siddy. We're finding the weather quite amazing. They do say that Melbourne gets 3 seasons in a day, a bit like the UK. But considering we're now in February, this is pretty much unheard of for where we live in Australia anyway. It's about 16 degrees here at the moment and wet and windy. And back in Perth, I think it's about 38, 39 today.
I think it's
Oh, is it?
today, but it's usually a bit warmer than they say, isn't it?
But sort of December, January, February, March, we wouldn't see any rain at all, really, in WA. We're here. It seems like it changes every couple of hours.
Never
Interesting.
Worn a coat in February before, have we?
No. I don't know if you would have caught that then, but Angie just said, we've never worn a coat in February before. In a way, it makes a bit of a nice change, because normally this time of year, we're just sweating our danglies off. So this is the main street. Not crazy busy. It is Saturday afternoon. Oh, left them behind. Come on, Sid. And you, I suppose. Oh yeah, that's nice down there, isn't it? That's nice and cute. Look at the umbrellas. There's definitely a little bit more going on up here, isn't there? Sun's suddenly come out.
Yeah.
It's only about 10 minutes since it was blowing a hoolie and raining. What did we say? About 3 seasons in a day?
It's
More
not
like
like we've
3
gone round
seasons in an
corner.
hour.
Not like we've gone round corner and we're sheltered, is it?
It's getting pretty hot, isn't it?
It's nice.
It's a main street that goes on and on and on, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? An Aldi at the bottom.
We're used to little towns that are only about 40 metres long,
Yeah,
aren't we?
yeah. Come on.
Well, I can't believe it. Look at the sky now.
It's lovely now, isn't it?
It's literally within, what, half an hour? Sid can't walk past a bowl without having a drink. Equally means he can't walk past a tree without having a wee. So another 10 minutes have passed and it's raining again.
That's a little bit sheltered.
Sky's
if you want to go
gone
there.
horrible again and it's raining. It was literally 5 minutes, maybe 7 or 8 minutes since I showed you the blue sky. There's a lot of ice cream type parlours here.
Come on, good boy. Good boy. Come on, nicely.
Very much a holiday spot. Very much. Are you hiding out of the rain, honey bun?
I'm just waiting for you. I've got to avoid dogs and things like that.
There's a tapas bar over there. I bet it's a really nice spot in the evening.
Night, yeah,
On a
lovely.
nice night. I bet it's there's plenty going on.
Yeah. Come on.
There's lots and lots of eating places,
Yeah,
isn't
lovely.
there? It's very nice. Another ice cream, fish and chips and ice cream next door to one another. You can't go wrong, can you?
Plain and pudding.
So we're back down near the coast and it's windy and damp. Again, the rain's eased off. Just a lot of dampness in the air now. That gelato place there is called OK Lucy. Okay, newsflash. I'd just like it known that Carl has been in the cafe and just bought coffee. No
Really?
cakes, no cakes, no sandwiches,
Good on
no
you.
pies,
Good on you.
just coffee. So we've just had a very nice little coffee in a cafe. That's all we had. Didn't have any, no pies, no cakes, just a coffee.
Yep.
And what was the primary reason that we had that coffee, honey bun?
To warm us up.
To warm up. In February. To warm up.
Just get in the car before them dirty clouds come over there.
Yeah, there's
Look
the
at
next batch of dirty clouds coming in a minute. Back to the car. So we're just having a drive up to Frankston now. It will quite possibly be a bit more of a drive round than a walk around, I think, because it seems to be quite a sprawling sort of town. There's no main street with everything on it or whatever, so we'll just have a bit of a suss out while we're here. Be nice to go and have a look, see what it's like up there. So we're just coming into Frankston and that doesn't look very enticing there, does it? So we've absolutely no idea where we're going. Just having a bit of a wander. Looks like this might be the main street, I'm not sure. Have a looky. This is where everybody's seems to be heading. Very treey, isn't it?
Very tree lined.
Again, not that many people around, considering it's Saturday afternoon.
It is. Just back to where we've just been.
One way? No, that's not one way.
TGI Fridays.
This isn't one way, is it?
Nando's, all the perfects and churros just as you come out of the cinemas.
Yeah.
Perfect. Grilled. Oh yeah. Fancy yogurts. They've got everything you'd want when you come out the movies there.
Tattoo parlour here. If you want a tattoo, you're laughing. It's almost like a city centre, isn't it? I wonder if it's won't be classed as a city, would it? I don't know. Well, I think Frankston is a considerably more sort of industrially type town, as opposed to Mornington, which is clearly more of a holiday kind of town. I think we've just driven down the main shoppy, touristy type bit in Frankston, so I don't think there's a great deal for us to see here really. Or we'll head back maybe. So, Angie's just nipped into the supermarket to pick up some milk and a few bits, but here's the latest development. We now have an engine light on as well. So I'm actually seeing that as a good thing because it might make it a little bit easier for them to diagnose what the problem is. And I was saying to Angie earlier, it might mean that on Monday, it's Saturday afternoon now, we might be able to push them to get it in a little bit sooner because we're worried about driving it now. You know, we've got an engine light on as well. So you never know. Watch this space. So it is the following day, and we have had a bit of a strange day today, believe it or not, and you wouldn't know looking behind us there. It's been pretty much raining all day. It's just brightened up about an hour ago, and we did have a bit of a ride out and drifted a bit further up just to explore the Mornington Peninsula through Cranbourne and Dandenong, was it called?
No,
but they were kind of,
something like that.
they were sort of inland towns. They were a little bit sort of commercial / residential, so nothing to film really, nothing to show you. And that's really it for our time here. We're going to move further up the Mornington Peninsula tomorrow morning, and the prime reason to do that is to catch up with some friends of ours. A couple that we knew that used to live in Perth have now moved out to Melbourne, and it will be great to see them. We've not seen them for a while. This is actually the couple where we've had our new microphones sent to, so they'll be bringing them down for us, which will be should sort that little problem out, fingers crossed. So we're not quite sure how much longer we're going to be sticking around the Mornington Peninsula because we've still got the car issue, and as the engine light has now come on, I'm going to push them tomorrow to try and get that in a bit quicker. So we'll see how that one goes. So we'll say goodbye for now, and we'll catch up with you in the next day or two when we've managed a little bit of movement. So see you in a bit.
Bye.
Bye.